So the recording will be here. Okay. Hello, Gabriel. Gabriel. Hello. Hello, Gabriel. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, Gabriel. Okay. I'm not hearing you. Is it my end? Hello, Gabriel.
Hello.
Yes, yes, I've heard you.
Hey,
I've heard you.
now I've joined with the computer audio. How do I change?
You could
to
click, you could go to video, rather to audio. But even your face looking at it is not bad, but at times it consumes the bandwidth, and we tend to view video briefly and then we switch to audio. You've seen where to activate audio?
Not yet. I'm still looking for it.
And if it's like a challenge, you could still go, you could log out and then enter fresh. Because when you're entering afresh, it will give you the right procedure. You see the procedure. But it's not seeing the audio option. Audio. You could go back and then enter fresh. You'll see the audio option. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. The presenter is trying to connect and get on. And then as soon as he completes the connection, we shall be able to move. We are having MDC CPA paper 10, and he's moving from now up to 11:30 or soon after. Gabriel, are you able to speak? Gabriel, are you able to hear me? Hello? CPA Gabriel speaking to you. Are you able to hear me? It's like you're not hearing me. Hello?
Now I can hear you very well.
Very well. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you so much. I think you are set. I imagine you are set.
Yes, I am.
Very good. Very, very good. Members online, we have over 120, and that is good enough for the start. Thank you so much for logging in. I can see there are some Q and some comments in the Q&A. That is array. Maybe I'll look at them after, but in case the question is about the delay, then it is already answered by our logging in. But we are sorry for the delay, ladies and gentlemen. We have CPA paper 10, management, decision, and control. We have a series of engagements, but right now we have CPA 10. Our facilitator is none other than CPA Muwonge Musenero Gabriel. CPA Gabriel is a graduate of Bachelor of Science, Accounting and Finance option, Chamberlain University. He holds a Master of Business Administration from Mountains of the Moon. He has a total tax person course qualification offered by URA. He has a postgraduate diploma in tax investigations for DT offered by URA. He worked and has worked in various places. Caritas Mado as accounts assistant for over 4 years. He worked with URA as tax officer for over 11 years. He lectured at Katigondo Major Seminary for some time, meaning that he's a man of God. He has lectured in areas of cost management, areas of finance, in areas of taxation, in different places and at different levels. He is currently at BDO East Africa Advisory Services as a senior tax advisor. CPA Gabriel, I've known him for some time. He is experienced in the work that we have invited him for. He's a senior educationist and an expert in that. Will come with me, CPA Gabriel Musenero Muwonge, to take us through. And as we welcome him, I'll remind you that the Q&A, keep on posting the Q&A, your comments, your questions in the Q&A, and then we shall address those comments and questions after the hour of presentation. CPA Gabriel, you are welcome. Take over. Talk to your people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Trinawe Justus, CPA Justus. Thank you very much for that detailed introduction. And I don't need to repeat anything. Maybe a supplement. I do a lot of pro bono services for the church. And that is the church, the Masaka Diocese. So I practice not only lecturing management accounting, but I also practice management accounting. So much it is an interesting area to which our participants and all those who are expecting to join and all those who are aware to embrace. This is a good area. It is a traditional accounting which has been there. We are going to leave it there because of its importance to the growth and the sustainability of any business. Without it, a business, decisions cannot be made. So let me go direct. Inquire. I will be sharing my screen. All right. CPA Justus. Let me share my screen.
Gabriel, I thought you can share.
Yes, I'm trying to share my screen.
Because this side we are not sharing.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. I'm seeing it coming. You just continue, put in slide mode, and we go. Perfect.
Okay. Participants, am I audible?
Gabriel, you're audible.
Okay. Management decision and control is our area today. And for this engagement, these are our deliverables, or these are some things we are going to interact about. We are going to just briefly look at the syllabus, our performance for the past 2 years, the best examination approaches, why performance is poor. The question approach, we are going to look at the question paper of November 2023, and then we shall have a conclusion and a Q&A and a session. So without wasting your time, let us look at the syllabus overview. And in this management, this paper 10, which you know as management decision and control, it is in the new syllabus, it became paper 10, but those who were in the previous syllabus, it was paper 11. And it is paper on level 2, which integrates knowledge from paper 3 on level 1, which is quantitative techniques. And it also integrates knowledge from paper 6, that is cost and management accounting. In terms of examination, it is having an examination of 3 hours, but you are given 15 minutes of reading time. And its examination structure, it has section A and section B. Section A has 40 marker question with 1 question and is compulsory. Then section B has got 4 questions, each awarded 20 marks, but you attempt only 3. Then it has 16 topics and 7 learning outcomes. On this side of the learning outcomes, the error which sometimes we make as students, we just go direct to read the topics without appreciating the learning outcomes. So it is good to read and understand the learning outcomes, because examiners will focus so much, because those are the expectations that after studying management decisions and the control, at the end of the day, what do you go with? They expect you that you would have gotten those, you would have achieved the 7 learning outcomes, and you as a professional, you will be able to exhibit what is listed in those 7 learning outcomes. So examiners will concentrate so much on that. And that's why I'm saying that even this paper, it is management decisions and control, which is MDC, it has 70%, at least 70% of its part as an examination is computational, and the 30% is discursive. But when you find, when the examiner has given you 80% computational and has 20% discursive, please don't say that when we were in the engagement, they said the paper is 70% or 30% discursive. No, it will base on the examiner, what the examiner wants to bring out, what the examiner wants to get from those learning outcomes is testing. So, but at the bare minimum, the institute, the PIEB is expecting that this paper cannot go below 70% computational, and the meaning discursive can be at 30%. Then this paper will need you to have the comprehension skills, have skills of application, and the skills of evaluation. You need this. That's That is the syllabus overview. In terms of performance, we have now two syllabuses we are comparing here. 2023, we were in the new syllabus. 2022, we were in the old syllabus. When you look at the performance of the old syllabus, June 2022, September 2021, December 2022, good enough here, we had recovered from COVID. But you find, interestingly, the performance is almost the same for the two syllabuses. The blue bars are still down, and the orange bars are up there. Please note, orange bars are representing failure. So we need to work towards turning the orange bars into blue and turning the blue bars into orange. And we need to lower them to the bare minimum of 0. In that, when we have those CPA, just as we say, it is impossible if 174 candidates come for an exam and all of them walk out when they have passed. A lot of questions may come, given the fact that during these days, the way we have the attention of the media. But if you have done your things, I'm sure the examiners will let you go. So let us fight to turn the blue bars up to 100 and the 0 bars and the orange bars to 0. Yes, that would be interesting. Then, what are the best exam approaches? What are the best exam approaches that you would go for? You would go for that are recommended. The first thing when you register for an examination, like MDC, the first thing you have to do is to look at what is your take. What is your take? When I say what is your take, is you have registered, you are in. Then you look at the syllabus. You look at the syllabus. The examination is going to come from this syllabus. So when you look at the syllabus, at least 80% of the outcomes are going to be covered in the examination paper, and even the topics at least 80%. And when you say at least, we are saying that is the minimum. Meaning an examiner may go even into 90% to see, because it is kind of an inclusive approach. The examiner is intending to see how diverse are you in terms of covering all the syllabus areas. Because you look at the syllabus has got 16 topics, and if they examine 80% and they leave 20%, that implies around 12 topics have been examined and the 4 topics have been left out. What does this mean? What does this mean? That if you, as the candidate who is coming for this paper, you have not prepared enough to cover at least 14 topics out of the 16, you are likely to be spotted out. You are likely to be spotted out. So you need to, when you decide you are going to sit, you need to plan and look at the syllabus coverage in its totality. Don't read less than 80% is key. And I'm just giving an extract here that the examination paper, I think this must be a paper of November 2023. It might have been an error here. When you look at the examination of November 2023, in this paper, question 1 had 3 topics. When you look at question 2 also had 3 topics. Then the other questions carried 2 topics each. What does it mean? What does it mean here? When you add, so far you have 6 topics here. The other 3 remaining questions, they have also 2, which is 6. So 6 plus 6, that is already 12 topics. And for you, If you read 80 topics out of 16 that you have covered 50%, you are likely to be spotted out. Then the right revision process, it is good to do your revision progressively and rightly. When I say progressively, because we're going to start reading these topics, as I've said already, that this paper has got knowledge. You have the knowledge you have gotten from quantitative techniques and the cost and management accounting at level 1. So you have come out at level 2 with this knowledge. When you come with this knowledge is going to help you now to understand more of the syllabus, or to understand more of the syllabus topics for this. So this knowledge is aiding you. What does it mean? That when you come, you have done budgeting. For instance, I'm giving an example, like a budgeting. You have done budgeting in paper 7. In paper 6, not paper 7. You have done budgeting in paper 6 at level 1. So you are now going to come to do paper 10. You are going to find budgeting. At this point, the examiner is interested. How are you going to apply the knowledge you acquired from the other side of paper 1 to attempt these questions of MDC? You have the knowledge already. Here, you're going to go through, they take you through, it is like a revision actually. So that's why we say the revision process should be done progressively and rightly. So when you come to read the topic of budgeting, for me, I already know you have the knowledge. You have an understanding of budgeting. So you come here, you get now, when you read the topic, how it is structured, the topic, how it is structured of budgeting for MDC, after completing it, get the past paper, attempt those questions in the past papers for MDC, and try to appreciate the examiner's intentions. That one will give you confidence to how to answer these questions. And don't read in a reverse mode. Okay? In a reverse mode, I say you first look at the solution and then you come to attempt the question. There you have now turned into yourself into a marker. Because you have looked at the solution and then you go to look at the question. You cannot test your abilities. First, test your abilities to answer this question. Can you interpret the question? Can you form a solution to that question? And after doing so, because the institute has already provided the solutions for you, they are already uploaded. So then you go, you look at the solution which has been provided and see if it is coming to what you have gotten. Then you mark yourself. Still on the revision, if you are doing it, it is good to do it in a group. If you are doing it as a group, please don't be at the receiving end. When you are at the receiving end, you miss a lot. Be at the leading end, in that you are the one who is discussing for your fellows. So when you are discussing for the fellows, you are the major discussant. You will understand and appreciate these concepts more and more. So it is good to discuss in a group, but don't be on the receiving end, and for you, your work is to write. The things which you write, even you don't go to read them. No. When you go to a discussion in a group discussion, let every member participate. Don't be members who are there to receive from others. Just know that those who are leading in a discussion, they appreciate this concept because they do prior research before they come to discuss with you. And now for you, you wait and say, I'm waiting for Alex. Alex will discuss for us. Alex will discuss for us this area. So at the end of the day, when Alex passes, you forget, you say, yeah, Alex, it was obvious, Alex, but it was obvious, Alex, we looked at it, would pass. He was the one actually teaching us. So, but what was he doing? What he was doing was to do prior research. And when he's discussing with you, is getting more knowledge, is getting more confidence of the area he's looking at. And the things are sinking in his head. So again, another concept which we have to bring out participants, candidates here, is that when you are writing your exam, you have read too much. You have read too much. But now you have to decide when you are answering the exam, you have to look at two aspects. There is quantity and there is quality. So the examiner is interested in the quality of your work. So someone has said, give a comparative difference between a financial leverage and a operating leverage. And for you, you write a full page on that. Is awarding that area, say 5 marks. You write a full page. So writing a full page. Now let us look at, and another person comes and writes a quarter a page. The marker comes and reads your full page and is like, no. Most likely, there is no work here. This one is gambling. The marker will be highly motivated to read the other person's quarter page. Because now for you who is writing too much, someone, the marker may start looking at that thing as gambling. So in writing it too much, you have resulted into wasting a lot of time. But remember, time management is key to passing. This is a timed exam. It has 3 hours. You are attempting 5 questions. 4. You are attempting 4 questions. You have a 40 marker question. So the exam is 100. It has 100 marks. You have 90. Are they 90? 180 minutes to answer. So you need also to compute your time. So if you waste a lot of time by writing too much, and the too much you are writing has not brought out the quality the examiner is expecting from you, you are likely. So it is better you concentrate on, you bring out the major things that should come out. So that's why you say, focus on quality over quantity. Don't write too much without quality, without bringing out the examiner's intentions. Was it in secondary? Was it in primary, where people would say, that one writes Sirere. So please, let us not be in that, because when you move out of the class and it's like, that one we know. Writes too much, asks for very many papers, but writes Sirere. You have written 4 scripts, but again, you have failed. Someone writes on 1 script and passes. So you need to concentrate on writing too much, on writing little quality. But when you are writing too much, just know also your time is going, and it implies you are not efficient and effective. So again, where is this paper taking us? You remember I told you that this paper has the bottom line, the knowledge you get from quantitative techniques and the cost and management accounting. So now you are coming here at level 2 to show that you have the technical knowledge. You're going to demonstrate your knowledge. Actually, when you go to the syllabus and you read, that's where you saw that the paper writes you to have comprehension skills, have the application skills, have the evaluation skills. It is interesting. It is interesting. The first thing that whatever you have studied, can you apply it? That's why the scenarios are designed. The examiners give you scenarios well-centered to problems that manifest in organizations. They are real problems that are happening there in various industries, whether insurance, whether banking, whether manufacturing, whether transport, whether telecom. Because management accounting is diverse, is applied in all sectors. All businesses in various sectors, all organizations, companies, all entities prepare management accounts for the top decision makers to make decisions. So if we appreciate that, now if we're the management accountant, when it comes, you have finished your MDC, what they expect you, it's not to just prepare. They have said we are preparing a budget for the financial year starting July 2024 to June 2025. So we are in a process we are doing. And for you, you do your budget template there and you put it to them. But you cannot explain that budget. You cannot show them the implications. You have made the cash budget, and now the CEO is saying, what are we going to do with this? You will even call it a report with this thing here. And therefore, you cannot also tell him that, you see, this cash flow budget, this budget is showing us these projections. So you must have the skill to apply the knowledge. Then the skill. Organizations now have management information systems, whereby organization, actually our profession is changing. We are moving away from data entry, posting transactions. Gadgets are now being bought. When you go to supermarkets, when you buy, they just scan what you have bought into the system. And the system, after scanning the code, the system computes this one has bought worth these items, and they are stocked off. They are stocked off from the stock. They are posted now to the sales ledger. To do what? To do the scanning, and the system does all the other transaction processes. Yet in the past, it would be there is one who is now to write a manual receipt. But this one just scans the item, and the system produces for a receipt, and it gives you a receipt, and you walk away. There would be one to write a receipt. There would be one now to bring to post that receipt. You get, but no longer all those things. Where do we need to focus? As management accountant, your focus should be, can you do analysis? Because the information is now there. Can you analyze it? Can you evaluate? Can you assess? Can you also take a decision? The decisions are not only taken by the top decision makers, because you may reach there, the CEO says, all what you have said I've heard, and all what you have presented I've heard. What do we do? He's asking you as a management accountant, as a finance manager. He's saying, what do you do? What do we do? So meaning, when you are taking your report, you did not give probable solutions. So this paper is preparing you. That's why it says advise, evaluate, assess, critical assess. Because at the end of the day, you are going to show your possible solution. You say, according to the analysis and evaluations we have done, for us, we believe if we take this direction, it is okay. If we take this direction, it is not good. This is where the paper is taking you, because even the decision maker, that's what they are wanting. They want you to go with body members. Have how many they sit, for instance, most organizations, they have quarterly body meetings. So you people, 365 days you are in the organization. The other ones come like 4 days in a year to look at the things. But you want them to give you solutions as body members? No. We want you to go with the solutions, and for them, they look at the decisions, because they are strategic thinkers. They are the strategic planners for the organization, to say, from the strategic view, what the management accountant is saying, yes, that option will work when we take it, and they embrace it. Or they will say, what you are suggesting, let us study it further. Do you can do a benchmark and we see if it is effective. So they don't want you to go to the board and you ask the board members, we are here, for us, we have told you the problem. Our cash flow shows that we are in a deficit. Please help us. They have 4 days. So that's why I'm telling you that as a management accountant, as a finance manager, you are above posting. Even the organizations have got those management information systems where posting data entry has been taken off by the gadgets. Now your work is on analysis. And the analysis is also, this activity is being taken away because of the revolution of artificial intelligence. When you look at AI, how it is doing things, you see how people are doing Photoshop. You can see how someone gives you a manual document, you go, you scan it, and you know very well that you could not copy. After scanning, it becomes an image. When you scan a manual document, it is an image. But people can turn that one into an Excel format, into a Word format document, which is editable, that image. There are already applications to that. So the point which I want to tell you, that even at this point now, even the analysis activity, which we have been saying that for us, we are doing analysis. The posting was taken by gadgets. Even artificial intelligence has come now to take this. So where are we left? I don't think the gadgets will do a decision. But the analysis, these gadgets will be giving probable solutions and now decision making. So meaning we should also move first to strategic thinking. Organizations are going to reach a point to do analysis. No, they're interested in a management accountant who can make decisions. And the MDC is to preparing you for that. So then critical thinking is another variable which is also doing the same. You hear people say they are critical thinkers. I'm a critical thinker. But what we are saying here, for you as a critical thinker, what we are looking at is when you are doing a decision, your decision cannot be, you don't just come and put a decision there. No, you don't just come and say, we are going to do this. What is your basis? Have you reasoned that basis? Is it reasonable? Can you justify? So at the end of the day, you need to be a critical thinker. And one of the characteristics of a critical thinker, or the things which you should have as a critical thinker, don't forget that you are a what? That a critical thinker, the concept of intelligence is key in a critical thinking. You must have that feature, you must have that attribute of intelligence in it as a critical thinker. You have to look forward. You have to look forward. You think ahead of people around you. That's why people are there. They'll say, we are with John, but John is We are with him, but he's 100 miles from us. So he's reading forward. You know, you can be with the people and you are talking about something, but someone is like, if you is thinking of, for you are still here thinking of something, but for him he has analyzed already this and is looking at now the implications. He's looking at the implications. He's a critical thinker. So MDC needs all this when you are answering this question. You don't just come and put things there. I've made the computations, they are there. You get. And the beauty is that when you do your computational analysis and you reason your computational analysis, then you make a decision based on your computational analysis. For me, if I'm the one, I will take your decision valid. If your decision is justified by your computational analysis, for me, I consider you that you are a real decision maker, because your decision is informed by data. It's not like someone who has just been somewhere and comes and says, someone is saying that we advise on the possible route to take. And we are going to take east. You ask him, why are we taking east? He has no reasons. But for you have reasons with the facts. You have done your figures. The figures are there. So computational analysis is key to the decisions. Again, so technical knowledge is key. One, you must be in a position to apply what you have gotten from QT, what you have gotten from costing and management accounting in this paper. Because when you come into this paper, most of the topics which are here, these topics you have covered them, you have even covered them at the degree level, you have covered them. So in other studies, you have covered them. So here it is like revision, but preparing you for these kind of skills. And as I've told you, it's not a threat. I'm not creating a threat or what, but the reality is that artificial intelligence is eating us, that it is taking, someone has designed a system, they call them engines, has an engine where he gets data, puts the data in the engine, and the engine is producing for him reports. Meaning after producing the reports, he only needs the analysis is done. He only now needs someone to organize the report. Yet, previously we have been saying, no, we need so and so to come and analyze for us these figures, and we make up a report. But no, they have read the people's thinking, they have gotten the concepts, and they have put them into an engine, which engine is doing that analysis. So, members, participants, as we embrace this profession, the way we love it, the profession is growing, we must grow with it. Otherwise, if we don't grow with it, it is going to leave us behind, and we shall find ourselves being kicked out. Then, business awareness. Business awareness. Business awareness, you see, as I've told you, that this paper is not just looking at the theoretical perspective to ask you what is benchmarking. No. This paper is to look at, is it true the way banks do benchmarking is the way a farmer will do benchmarking? Or this benchmarking in the service industry, does it take the same processes and procedures like a manufacturing entity? So what does it mean? It implies that we need to appreciate various sectors. We need to appreciate various sectors. We have to look at the sectors and we appreciate them, because this is This is where every question is going to come when it has got a topic, a sector it is centered to. And another thing which, for me, when I've looked at the trend, because I was looking at the trend of these past papers, another thing which you have also to look at to understand when you look at the past papers of the Institute of ISPAL, one thing you should also look at the current affairs. Which things are booming? Which things have caught attention in the industry, in the country, or in the world? So the examiners would want to put, to see, they want also to see, are you following up with the national and the global trends? Are you up to date? So to get also that one that you are following up with the global trend. That's why they are looking at sector-based questions, and these sector-based questions looking at the sectors that have caught attention of people in that current period. So members, you need, because I know if I know these sectors are unique, it will be difficult for someone who is working, say, in a public sector, like a local government, to tackle a question that has been technically set to address problems of a banking sector, because you have never worked there. So you need to appreciate the processes of a banking sector, because one, we go there to borrow loans. So if we go there for loans, why don't we also understand how they do their business? At the end of the day, you may be, say, a principal auditor, a principal internal auditor, say, of district. And here you are, you leave, you go now to become a finance manager of, say, or a CEO of a financial institution, say microfinance or whatever. Really, if you don't know the process of the banking, it may be difficult for you to go there. Or you may be a principal internal auditor. Now you come, you decide to say, no, I'm leaving employment, I'm going to self-employment, I'm going to private practice as a professional accountant. Here you are given an assignment of a bank. Are you going to leave it because you don't understand their processes? So please, we need to appreciate this. So that is technical knowledge, the business awareness. Then examination techniques, exam techniques. Here we are just looking at now the general perspective. The others have been the specifics. In the other previous slides, we have been looking at the specifics. Syllabus coverage, as I've told you, is key at your start. The right revision process is key. And also when you are writing, mind about quality over quantity. Technical knowledge, I can say, is like the body. It's like the body. This is what you have. This is your goodwill. It is your loyalty. That's what you hold for this paper. The technical knowledge. That is your intangible asset. Then the accessory assets, which, like the fringe assets which you have, is having the business awareness, knowing what is transpiring around the world, knowing the global trends is also key. That's why I say it is invaluable in the examination room. So these are just general perspectives. What is key is the other ones. Here in the general perspectives, we are looking at the examination techniques. Examination techniques is basically things I talked about. Time management. I told you that writing a section or a question, a requirement of a question, says we are awarding you 5 marks. As I've said, the comparative differences between, say, financial leverage and the operating leverage, and you're writing more than 1 page. Another person writes a quarter page, and the scores all. You have written more than 1 page, and you score nothing. Already, you don't know how to manage your time. Your time has gone for nothing. And you wrote too much, all of which the marker has looked at it and says, no. this one doesn't understand these concepts. So we cannot let this person go to practice because we will not give right advisories. Then be specific when you are answering. Be specific when you're answering. This one also goes back to quality. Because when you start beating around the bush, it shows that you are not prepared, you are not ready, you don't understand that area. Someone who understands the area will brief it. It is true and it is human that an area which you don't understand very well, you are likely to write too much about it. But the one who understands it very well can briefly summarize it. Yes, you have brought it the way we wanted it. So be specific when answering. Be disciplined. Answer a question exhaustively. What do we mean here? These ones, we are picking them actually from the feedback from the examiners. It is the good discipline to you candidates, to you participants, that when you decide to sit a paper of CPA, since they have put for you the examiner's reports, they have put for you question papers, they have put for you solutions, one thing you should do, get those examiner's reports, read them, and see the feedback from the examiners. That feedback will be good because you will see why the performance was like this. They are giving justifications why the performance was like this. So you need to, one of the things when you read it from the examiner's reports, you come, say 3 requirements, computation and discursive, you answer only the computational part and you run away. That for you, your skill in doing computation analysis. At the end of the day, after doing your computations for the questions required, you have failed. Because this paper is not all about computing. It also has a need for writing. You have to know how to prepare a report. Yes, you have finished preparing the budget. Are you going to just take the budget templates to present the budget templates to the board? No, there must be they call it a transmittal or whatever. There must be a summary report in that the budgetary templates are just appendices to it. So you summarize. These people are not interested in going into your detailed figures. The board, they want to just read your summary report. That when it comes to income, this is how we performed and this is what we are projecting. Expenses, this is how we performed and this is what we are projecting. So that is key. So that's why the question paper is targeting 2 things. It is targeting doing your computational analysis, and it is awarded the good marks, 70%. But also preparing a report, the discursive side is also looking for the 30%, meaning it is balancing you as a professional. It is balancing you as a professional. Then another thing in the examination techniques is the balance sections. Balancing sections. Section A has 40 marks, section B has 60 marks. So if you decide to attempt only section B, what does it mean? You have already put yourself at risk that you have worked out of 60. You are no longer working out of 100 because the 40% you have deducted it from yourself. And the pass mark is 50%. So are you going to get the 50%? Are you going to get the 50 out of 60? Yes, you can, but that is a great gamble. It is very highly risky. So that's why you need also to give attention to section A, which carries 40 marks. Don't just run away from the question. Read it, comprehend it, and answer it. The time of 3 hours is provided for to answer those 4 questions according to the marks awarded. If this question is 40% and you have 180 hours, what does it mean? That 40% of 180 minutes should be almost over an hour should be allocated to section A. What does it mean? That 1 hour of the 3 hours is section A. Then 2 hours, and you have even the 15 minutes to prepare, to remove, to boost it. 15 minutes they are given to you. You boost the confidence. Examination fever is real. You enter the room, you start shivering. They give you the paper, you're like, open it, I don't open. What have they brought? You even don't read the instructions, you want to see what is inside. Please, you need to read the instructions and understand. Because you may be going with the instructions on the past papers. Before you know it, there have been adjustments in instructions. Okay? So it is good to enter, use. It is true, examination fever is real, but it is treated within 15 minutes. That examination fever can be treated. And then calculations versus theory. I don't know how much I will re-echo this because I've been talking about it, that computational analysis versus discursive. So people stop saying that for me, I'm a mathematician. I only know computations. For me, our family, it is known. Mathematics is not in our gene. Doing computations, I will go and look for those parts with the theory, where the higher marks. Yes, that strategy will work, but you see you have only 30 marks out of 100. The pass marker is 50. You still need the 20% to top on the 30. And you are not certain that even you will top the other 30, you will top it with the, you will score it out, all of it. You get. So you need to balance the two areas. Then presentation skills. When it comes to the presentation skills, participants, members, there are two things. And these ones, they are key. One, good handwriting. Good handwriting makes your solutions visible. The marker is not going to start saying, well, what did this one mean? What was he trying? What was she trying to write? No, everything is visible. There are those ones who are actually gifted. Some of us who have weaknesses. The handwriting I start with when I'm writing is not the handwriting I end with at the end of the examination paper. I must confess. But there are those who are gifted. Yeah, you find someone is consistent in handwriting. After I'm going to say in handwriting or his handwriting. The way that person has started, at the end of the 3 hours, the handwriting is the same. You people, you should thank God. You are gifted. It's a rare feature. It is for the few people. It is very hard to find people with that consistency. For the 3 hours with the pressure, when the invigilator is telling you 1 hour left, 30 minutes to stand, you will end up writing in English in Arabic style. So, but good handwriting is key. Then professional order. Professional order, you need to be tidy. You need to be orderly. When you read the examiner's pay reports, they talk about someone, a candidate has written question 2, as shown in the script that is starting with the question 2, part A, part B. Then it goes to question 4, part A, part B, part C. Then after question 4 comes question 2, part C. So you may carry higher chances of losing marks because of that disorder. So you need to be orderly in the way you are presenting your answers. You need to be orderly. When you start a question, question one, answer it. If there are some, it is true, there are some parts which you will say, I'm not conversant. Let me not waste so much time on this topic, this part. If I will do it last, but I finish the other parts where I'm confident, I knew them, I've killed them. So after killing them, you can leave. For me, I would just say if I'm a candidate, I will leave space which I see that is enough for me to answer that part. Other than starting a fresh number, when I know I will come back to answer that remaining part, if time allows. So you need to be orderly. You need to be orderly. So those are some of the examination tactics or the examination approaches. As we have said, that the first, in their order, the first is to organize yourself in terms of syllabus coverage. Understand that I'm going to read not less than 80% to cover all the learning outcomes and to cover the 16 topics. Then we have said, make sure you bring all your knowledge, the technical knowledge, in terms of application, in terms of analysis, and the critical thinking, in terms of decision making, because the major focus here is on decision making. And then when it comes to the general tactics, please, as we have said, you look at managing the time. We have had instances, actually, a colleague confessed to me how a person can be disorganized. He knows he has a paper, and this person, the examination was held at Mengoenses. For him, he went to Nambole. Reaching in Nambole, they told him, for us, we don't have exams here. The exams are in Mengeses. So reaching in Mengeses, 30 minutes, it was past 30 minutes to enter the exam. He missed the exam. Why? Failure to manage time. You have an exam at 9 and you are leaving home at 8:45. And it is our practice. It is in us. I may organize a meeting, I myself. I said, no, let us have a meeting. Let us meet at this point at, say, 10 a.m. It reaches 10 a.m. That's when I'm setting off home. Yet I said the meeting is starting at 10 a.m. But for me, at 10 a.m., I'm setting off home. So that already shows that you are disorganized. If the exam is at 9 a.m., you should be 30 minutes before 9 a.m. at the examination venue. So, okay, that is it. Appreciating the business is also key. So why poor performance? Why are the orange bars are exceeding the blue bars? Why? This is feedback from examiners. The people who have sat in the other last, some of them exhibited that were not prepared. That's what the examiners are saying. And the unpreparedness does not start on the examination day. It starts on the day you register for the examination. Because once you register for the examination like this, or you conceive the exam that you are going to sit the exam, then it implies that the preparation must be at high end. But what happens for you? You say, I'm going to sit this exam this year, this sitting. But you want to reach in a week to exams, and then you start to prepare. That is already done preparedness. Lot learning practice. We tend, because you have not given yourself enough time. You want to read for the exam a week 2 exams. Then you end up fighting to cram things. you end up fighting to cram things, and things will evaporate. That's what I can say. Things will evaporate because you are not understanding them. You reach there, you will start saying that these are not the things, as if you had the paper. These are not the things they were supposed to bring. As if you are the examiner, as if you had the paper in advance. But those are results of rote learning practice. Then over concentration on discursive parts. For me, I will add there that also we have had colleagues, for me in my tenure, I've had colleagues who say, even at the university, I must say, for me, I'm good at computations. But then when the paper comes back, it had a lot of computations. It had also some theory. This person has also failed the computations. So the same also, these ones who say, for me, I'm good at discursive parts. Yes, you are good at discursive parts. Can you kill them? It is risky. It is risky to enter the paper with that kind of attitude. Then over-reliance on instructors. This one has been also mentioned. You have an instructor, say Bosco, and Bosco is your instructor, and you're like, this paper, it is Bosco. I must attend all his classes. I must attend the revision classes. That is very good. But what have you done for yourself as an individual, independently? Because from the classroom, from the revision classes of Bosco, you are going now to go to the examination room. What are you ready? So we go to the instructors. When I was at high school, we had a part-time teacher. He was teaching us mechanics in mathematics. And interestingly, that guy told us his profession was an engineer. So what he told us that for me, I'm here, senior 6 people, I cannot say that I'm teaching you. I'm here to show you what is in the textbook. When I show you what is in the textbook and I do some demonstration, you will go for yourself and look for. So what I can say that the lecturers may be giving you like 50%, if not less than that, of the knowledge you need. So the knowledge you need to answer this paper is upon your hard work, is upon your input. Input, in terms of going for the lecture classes, right? You go for the instruction classes. But after those instruction classes and revision classes, just know that the biggest percentage is what you are putting as an individual. Not running after different group discussions. There is a group discussion at Makerere. There is a group discussion at Chambogo. There is a group discussion at MOBS. All of them, you attend them. The question is, when are you reading for yourself? When do you do research for yourself? Because you must do individual research, which you are going to share with the group members, as we said. So you don't need to rely too much on the instructors. You go to the instructors to demonstrate to you the way to do it. After knowing the how, and then you go and practice that how. You will go back to the instructor to say, but I've tried all this, I'm failing. Why? I'm not going back to the instructor to wait for another dose. Then poor time management. Poor time management, I think this one we have talked about it. I've given a scenario of someone who went to Nambole when the exam is being held at Mengeses. That one was a good poor time manager, very disorganized. Then dodging what the question is in section B. And even in section A, the questions are, these are scenarios where they want to first derive a problem an entity is facing for you to understand it and for you don't want to read. No, these are not questions of cost and management accounting of paper 6. No. These are questions which are giving you of level 2 MDC, which are giving you the problem happening in a given entity, and they are seeking solutions. And the solver of the problems, the person who is going to provide the solutions is you. So if you don't understand the background of their problem, where they come from, you cannot also give them what? A proper solution. So that's why they try to briefly, to first make you appreciate what is happening in the entity. And after appreciating what is happening in the entity, you can easily advise. Excuse me. So these ones is feedback from examination reports. Examiners are telling you this is why we have orange bars. More research, the general ones, the general things, which all of us know. And you can even laugh at each other. We can laugh at ourselves. I may say I will wake up at 4 p.m. to read. 4 p.m. reaches when I'm awake. I will read in the following day. I wake up the night of the following day. It is too cold for me to wake up. Will it stop to be cold? So laziness, overconfidence is not also good. Bad reading habits, lack of interest, the mindset itself, too engaged, friends, finance, unreliable lecturers. I will do it tomorrow attitude, which I've already talked about. So all these ones happen before you go for the exam. I want to sit MDC. That paper, I've read this so much. You are showing that you have no interest in passing it. Your mindset, your attitude. It is as if for you, you are convinced that you cannot pass it. For people who are saying, for finance, I will understand. All of us can be stressed. You are looking for the examination fees, even the extension, the late registration is expiring. There, it is an understandable problem. Unreliable lecturers, yes, their colleagues there, I think. Someone will tell you, you come, I'm going to lecture you. But then started dodging you. Dodges classes like nothing, but he has already collected the money. So these ones happen before exams. Then examination day. On examination day, lateness, we have talked about our colleague. Incomplete materials, you are not heeding to instructions. You are wasting time by writing too much. And you are also engaging in examination malpractice. Because you have been making yourself comfortable for the exam. Then you enter the examination day and you are like, let me go with the let me go with this paper. They have told me this question doesn't miss. Let me go with my, so you preempt the exam and you go with your solutions. And luckily enough, your solutions you find when they have questions they can attend to. Then you start fidgeting, pulling out your paper to answer. And you know the implications of examination malpractice. Others, you are looking for the paper before the paper is released, or you are looking for it as if you're the one who set it. So these ones on the examination day, we have challenges of that kind. So we are going to look at, I don't know whether participants, you looked at that past paper of November 2023 and you read about it. you had a chance to look at it and read about it. Let us go through it and we'll appreciate how these examiners really trick us. Really trick us. But I was saying that during the exam, I'm just re-echoing that use your knowledge to answer the question and create information from data to add value to the entities or to the organizations. So these are the key things which you are going to do in the exam. You have a lot of knowledge, you have a lot of skills, which you are going to use in answering this question. And that knowledge and the skills are going to help you to get information, to create now, you're creating now information from the data. Because by solving problems of the organizations, you are adding value to them. So, okay. Let me get question. This question. Hope this is visible very well on that side, your screens. So this is the last year's paper, start on Friday, 1st December 2023. The instructions are very clear. They have given you 3 hours and 15 minutes. 15 minutes are for you to prepare the reading time. So your work is to organize yourself. So question 1, it's a compulsory question. We can go through it. By looking at the scenario itself. Shema Mirrors Limited, SML, operates a cereal milling plant in Arua industrial area. SML produces and sells high quality wheat and maize flour. Standard costing and activity-based costing systems are used by SML for profit maximization. SML is headed by a managing director who supervises managers in charge of production, marketing, finance, and administration. SML's accounting date is 31st October. The company boasts of high market share in West Nile and the neighboring parts of DRC and South Sudan. During the performance review meeting, the finance manager reported 5% growth in investments for the year ended 31st October 2023, which was attributed to stable cash flows. In order to manage the global economic crisis effects, the managing director informed the meeting that he is not going to be business as usual during the year ending 31st October 2024. She presented a proposal to install a state-of-the-art milling plant at shillings 2 billion during the year ending 31st October 2024. The supplier requires payment of 25% initial deposit in November 2024 as commitment, and the SML hopes to get it solely from the wheat and the maize projects. Production manager is optimistic that maize grain will be in plenty and at low price compared to wheat grain, which is imported. The finance manager is certain that the initial deposit on the proposed milling plant will be available by 31st October 2024. Though the maize and wheat, through the maize and wheat projects. Below is the standard cost card for producing a kilogram of wheat and maize flour. That is the standard cost card. It has grain, it has direct labor, variable overheads, fixed overheads, then a total of those costs, then selling price and a profit. So variable overhead costs are observed to products on the basis of direct labor hours. SML plan to produce 300 tons and 480 tons of wheat and maize flour, respectively, during the year ended 31st October 2023. Below is the extract of SML's variance analysis report for the year ended 31st October 2023. Wage rate variance, variable overhead variance, sales margin volume variance, fixed overhead expenditure variance. Wheat and maize flour was sold at shillings 5,600 and the shillings 2,750 per kilogram respectively during the year ended 31st October 2023. Grain for wheat and maize was bought at shillings 2,200 and the shillings 1,350 per kilogram respectively. Variable overhead costs were absorbed to wheat and maize flour at shillings 1,960 and 1,000 per hour respectively. Marketing manager categorized the customers into middlemen and the final customers. He indicated that during the year ended 31st October 2023, 80% of wheat flour was sold to middlemen, whereas for maize flour, 80% was sold to final customers. Below are activities and related costs incurred on maintaining the two customer groups during the year ended 31st October 2023. Sale orders, selling costs. So SML uses incremental budgeting approach, and due to the effects of the global crisis, the performance of the year ending 31st October 2023 was considered the budget for the year ending 31st October 2020. Additional information: the sales volume for wheat and maize flour is expected to increase by 5% and 8% respectively during the year ending 31st October 2024. This will also increase direct labor by 7 hours by 7,150, 12,350 for wheat and maize flour respectively. All products are sold on credit, of which 16%, 20%, 28%, and 32% is collected by cash during the first quarter, second, third, and fourth. Recover in the first 2 quarters of the subsequent year, and the ratio of 3:2 respectively. The accounts receivable and cash amounted to this and that respectively. All grain suppliers are paid in the second and the fourth quarter of the financial year in installments. All other costs are paid equally within each quarter. A proportion, 5% of the overhead is related to depreciation and amortization costs. Required. Advise SML's management all the following. A, 25% initial deposit, whether SML will be in a position come November 2024, use quarterly cash budgets. 22 marks. Profitability of the customer groups for the year ended 31st October 2023, 6 marks. Comparison of financial leverage and operating leverage, 4 marks. Procedure for budget development in organization like SML, 8 marks. So, you are in an exam, you have read through that question, and you are looking at killing it. Are you going to start from its head? Actually, people sometimes ask themselves that when you are going to read, do you start with the requirement and then you go back and read the scenario? Do you start with the scenario and then you come to the requirement? I will say, whatever approach you use, there are different methods of killing what? Killing a rat, so long as you have killed it. For me, it would be my take. So long as it is dead, it is dead. Which method you have used, so long as that we have used different methodologies, because accounting may not, management accounting may not have standardized approaches as such. However, they are known formats of presentation. That's what I can say. And thus, the route we have taken may not be a point. But if we are to assess at the end of the day, me and you, we have different approaches, but we are arriving at the same point. That is very fine. That is very fine. So, when you look at this question, requirement A is carrying 22 marks, over 50% of the marks of question 1, meaning it is quite involving, first of all. And 1, have you understood? The examiner, the beauty with the examiner here, he was kind. He said, use quarterly cash budgets. So, you know the tool you are going to use to answer. And then now you start recording from the question that somewhere you read the supplier requires a payment of 25% initial deposit in November 2024 as a commitment. And SML hopes to get salary from the wheat and the maize projects. So these people, they want to get 25% of 2 billion is what? It's like 500 million. They want 500 millions to be deposited, and it should be deposited in November 2024. And this guy is telling you, will it be possible? So meaning they're telling you use quarterly cash budgets. So you're going to prepare the cash budgets. You're going to prepare the cash budget in a quarterly for the year ending 31st October 20. Is that what it is asking? Initial deposit, whether SML will be in a position coming in November 2024. So,
excuse me, Gabriel.
Yes.
Gabriel, thank you so much. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Members on call, thank you for the patience. Gabriel, thank you so much for the question you brought. I would like to alert you that we were meant to end at 12:30. Now it is 12:30. And I will request and beg that kindly, as you look at that question, guide the listeners, because they always complain of the question being long. They always get stuck on where to start from. They fidget, they wonder, what do I begin with? They jump from paragraph to paragraph. They end up actually writing nothing. So I request that you quickly take them through on how you as a student, if you're a student, you would actually approach it very fast, and then we go into the question session so that we don't keep them for long. Thank you, Gabriel.
Okay. Basically, thank you very much, CPA Justice. As I've already said, that this one, the examiner was clear. He gave us a tool that for us to address this problem, let us use the quarterly cash budgets. And now, one thing as a student, as a candidate, I'm going to look at, if I want to prepare a quarterly cash budget, one, which period am I looking at? Which period am I looking at? Which year I'm preparing it for which year? That is one. But I've already told you here that before even we go there, let me first give the perspective that if I'm given a quarterly cash budget, I'm going to use the quarterly cash budget. So I'm going to prepare my cash budget in a quarterly columns. I have quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. That is one. Then, which period am I running? The financial is given. The information is there. And what components make up the cash budget? We know it. We have the opening balance, cash balance, or the cash equivalents. And then we have the receipts, or the cash inflows. Then we have the payments or the cash outflows. And then we get the closing balance. So what does it mean? So I'm going to go into the scenario. I look at the period which I'm going to break into quarters, the year which I'm going to break into quarters. That is one. Then two, I look, have they given me the opening cash balance? Yes, for the first quarter. Because if I get the opening cash balance for the first quarter, I'm the one to compute for myself the closing balance for the second quarter. For the closing balance for the first quarter, so that it becomes opening for the second quarter. That's how it runs. Closing of second quarter will be opening of third quarter, and the closing of third quarter will be opening of fourth quarter and of the opening of the fourth quarter, and the closing balance of the fourth quarter is the one to help me make the decision whether money will be available. So if they say come November 2024, the period, the year we are looking at is November 2022 to November 2023 to October 2024. That's the period we are going to be working, because in November 2024, this money is needed. Shall we be having it by 31st October 2024? That is the question. So, having read this scenario, I will go here, because this additional information was key. When you look at it, it is the one. So when you look at the receipts, which variables give you receipts? Which variables give you cash inflows? They are the sales. They are the sales. This man is telling you, in additional information here, that the sales volume for wheat and maize flour is expected to increase by 5% and 8% respectively during the year ending 31st October 2024. So having broken my cash budget into what I want, now I'm looking for receipts. And I know among the receipts, I have sales, I have debt recoveries, and maybe I may also have other incomes like maybe sale of the assets. So I will now start looking for that information. And having gone through the scenario, you would be already remembering that in this paragraph, there was this information is key for this. So, because here I'm not going to just say that I'm solving this question, but I'm just giving you hints where, when you look at this, that the examiner was putting in the logs. So if I'm looking for the sales, this guy has told me already that the sales volume for wheat and maize flour is expected to increase by 5% and 8% respectively during the year 31st October. And I'm looking for sales now. And they are the same guys who have told you in this additional information that all products are sold on credit, of which 16%, 20%, 28%, 32% is collected by cash during the first, second, third, and the fourth quarters, respectively. So, meaning you have the cash receipts or cash sales in those ratios. When you know your sales for the year or for the quarter, after getting them, these proportions are going for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Then they tell you all accounts receivable is recovered in the first 2 quarters of the subsequent year in the ratio of 3:2. Then you're going to go for that. So you have now the distribution, how the money is collected. Because when you sell, you must have collection. Now you have seen how to collect, and they have told you. Actually, I was looking for the cash balance. It is not 3. The accounts receivable and the cash amounted to this as at 31st October 2023. Meaning the opening cash balance is given, we have it. So you have the opening cash balance, you have no where to find. So now the issue is, here they are just telling you sales volume is going to increase. But already this guy is telling you that the SML uses incremental budgeting approach, and due to effects of the global crisis, the performance of the year ending 31st October was considered the budget for the year ending 31st October 2024. So meaning, using incremental budgeting, if you understand incremental budgeting, you are going to use the budget for the year ended 31st October 2023, the performance of for the year ended 31st October 2023, to make relevant adjustments, those incrementals, to derive your budget for the year ending 31st October 2024. So, meaning I need to find what were the actual sales for the year ended 31st October 2023 for wheat flour and the maize flour. Do I have that information? So you go to look for that information from the scenario. And as I've told you that the examiners will look. I don't remember anywhere, because now here, when I come to this paragraph, here, wheat and maize flour was sold at 5,600, 2,750 per kilogram respect during this year. They have given us the prices. we have the prices on which, but where is the volume? You need the volume. So, but below is the extract of SML's variance analysis report for the year ended 31st October 2023. This information is not relevant. It's not irrelevant. It is relevant. They have given you the variance analysis report, meaning if you pick out the sales margin volume variance and you work backwards, you can get the sales volumes. And when you get the sales volumes, you multiply them by those prices. You will be in a position to get, okay, you will get the sales volumes we need for that year. The actual sales volumes will be got using that. Then after getting the sales volumes, which we are talking about here, you will be in a position to get the budgets or the budget estimates for the year ending 31st October 2024, and you will be in a position to understand what were the prices. Is there any increase in prices? Have they talked about it? Because the key point was that the performance of the previous year is going to be based on to make a budgetary estimate for this year. Did they talk about increase in prices? No, they talk about sales volumes. So most likely the prices remain the same. So that's why now you take a decision. If you want to take it as an assumption, you can document it and say, according to the information given, these prices remained as those of previous year. You quote that and you go with that. If we don't have any further information talk about on the increment of the prices for the products. So as they are telling us that time may not be on our side, what in a summary, what I can tell you that the first thing is to comprehend the scenario, understand the scenario. After understanding the scenario very well, when you have read and understood the scenario, when you go to the question, the requirement which they are giving you, the requirement is coming directly from the scenario. It is you now to understand that when they tell me I'm doing a cash budget, which information do I need from the scenario to put in the cash budget? That's how I can put it in summary. Look for the information from the scenario to help you prepare this quarterly cash budget. And in terms of scoring the marks, I can say it would be good you make your extract, your pro forma cash budget. You say opening cash balance, you look for it, bring and put it there. Then you start looking for cash sales, as we have said. You make your workings and bring them. You say now debt recoveries. Already, this guy is saying all accounts receivable is recovered in the first 2 quarters of the subsequent year in the ratio of 3:2. They are giving you accounts receivable that were the opening balance of 100 millions as at 1st November 2023. So meaning you have this one to distribute for the 2 quarters, the first 2 quarters. So you need to comprehend the scenario, and then after understanding the scenario, when you read the requirement, understand which information is going to be used to answer that requirement. The same which comes to the profitability, part B, profitability of the customer groups for the year ended 31st October 2023. They have talked about the customer groups in the scenario, if you recall. They have talked about the customer groups somewhere. Here, marketing manager categorized the customers into middlemen and the final customers. Indicated during the year this, 80% of wheat flour was sold to middlemen, whereas for maize flour, 80% was sold to the final customers. What does it mean? If 80% of maize flour, wheat flour was sold to middlemen, 20% went to final customers. That's what it implies. And the reverse is true for maize flour. So now you have already known, and you know the revenue which was made for the year ending 31st October 2023. So you get that revenue, distribute it. You will be knowing. Because the company has told you the requirement is profitability of the customer groups for the year end 31st October 2023, literally, they want you to perform customer profitability analysis. Prepare a customer profitability statement where you have a column for middlemen as a group of customers and a column for final customers as a group of customers. The way they have categorized them, the way they have grouped them. Then take the revenue which has been allocated according to those ratios given to you. After that, what do you need next? The information has been given for us here. How that these are the costs relating to maintain the two customer groups. And you absorb now the costs to each customer group. You have this costs, and they have given you driver rates. Driver rates already, the cost driver rates have been given, and you have the cost drivers up here. As simple as that. As simple. This one I find it, but it is simple. So I can go back to the presentation. Here we are saying determining the cash balance as at 31st October 2024. That's what was needed. Preparing customer profitability analysis statement. And here you were supposed to discuss comparative differences of those two. And the procedure was to discuss the stages of budgeting. Basically, we have only looked at one question. And in summary, I would say CPA paper 10 tests our ability to comprehend scenarios, that is interpretation and analysis, and also application of knowledge. I also add there decision making is on our way. As I told you, that artificial intelligence has already reached us as it is taking the analysis function from us. Then CPA 10 will require you to be a critical thinker. And this is where we are saying that there is no elevator to success. Always you have to take a stairs. And you remember we talked about that mindset can make you have a negative attitude. So that's why I say mindset is what separates us from the best, or what separates the best from the rest. And finally, there are no secrets to success. Rather, it is the result of preparation, hard work, and also learning from failure. So when we fail, let's learn, take learning points. Why did we fail? So when we ask ourselves, why did we fail? We shall know how we failed, and we shall now rise up to go back and become victorious. That's back to you, CPA Justice.
Wow, thank you so much, CPA Gabriel. Thank you, members, for keeping patient. Without taking much time, I request CPA Gabriel to go straight to Q&A. I hope you are able to see the comments and some few comments and questions to respond to. Are you able to see them?
Yes, I can see them.
Yeah, you can pick some few, you can pick some, maybe some 5 or 6, which you see are key. And then if any is like on my side, you can just refer back, but let us use like 10 minutes and respond to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first one here, I suggest the examiner should always give us sectors where questions will come, such that we can always make research about sector language. Otherwise, this is very important and very applicable in the day life. Examiners should not lower its bar for this course. So I think that one is for you, CPA Justice.
All right.
MDC tests our reasoning, which is very good. However, this makes it difficult to keep time. Advice on how we can keep time. I think, as we have said, keeping time goes back. It is personal. It is personal. It is keeping time. I've said that it starts from preparation, and the failing also starts from preparation. Failing starts from preparation. The way I've already told you that when you conceive an idea that you are going to sit a paper, please just know that you need to manage your time. it would be bad for you to say, I'm going to sit the paper, and then you wait for the last 2 weeks to exam and to start reading for the failure to eat. Because what you're going to be doing now is not understanding and learning. You're going to be doing cramming of the things. To go and you also write them down. They evaporate. You go back at the way you came. And luckily enough, you can pass. But you have not learned. Because learning is a process which involves a lot of things. So I'm saying here, is it true when marking MDC paper, they don't focus so much on actual solved figures? That one I back to you, Justus. Oftentimes we have been told that while marking exams, if you score 50 in a paper, realistically you got like a 45. My question, what's the maximum marks they can add as a bonus? And under what circumstances do they give the bonus marks? And only Anthony, who is going to give you bonus marks, but this one also goes back to CPA Justus. I don't know whether they will give you bonus. Then what is the best question approach for me to excel in the MDC paper? This one, I think we have tried to see, as you have seen that examination paper of November 2023, where the examiner is telling you, use a cash budget to make a decision here. And you really know the first thing which comes into your mind that you must get the cash balance, which is going because they are financing. They want the initial deposit. The initial deposit is a cash outflow. You must have, first of all, the cash, which you are going to release to the other supplier. So what does it mean? Now you are going to show to the management that cash is there using these quarterly cash budgets. So that's why I've told you that it's so now about now bringing your knowledge on a budget, on the cash budget, to know that I need the opening balance, I need the receipts, which I may say cash inflows, then I need outflows, and now the technicalities will come in. That's I was reading a note where they were putting there non-cash flow items, that those ones you must remove them. You only consider cash flow items. So technical knowledge is at play when you are preparing that, but after knowing your variable. So it's all about, so to excel, one, appreciate the scenario which they have given to you, bring it home. You need to read and comprehend, then understand the requirement. You will answer the question, and I think that's all. There is nothing much. It is to read, understand, and then after reading and comprehending the scenario, you will be then, and you read the requirement, you understand the requirement, you will be in a position to pick relevant information from the scenario to answer your problem. How can one do all that in an exam? Susan, as we have already told you that this paper is preparing you not just for passing the exam, but the paper is preparing you to go as a professional, that you have the skill, that you have acquired the skill. It is a practical paper. It is not where you are going to come and say, what is this, and you write. No, it is not at the level of comprehension. No, it is at the level of application. So you have to do all this in 3 hours. That is the beauty with it. And what is important is preparation, Susan. What is the best approach when variances are mixed with other budgeted information, like in this case? Yes, as they are testing applicability, you have seen how I was trying to relate that. Do I have the sales volumes? You are trying to work. You are looking for the information relating to the sales volumes. You reach a point and you say, hey, when I use the other, so the sales volume variance, which they have given the variance analysis report, is relevant for me. I can work backward to get the sales volume. So in this case, the examiner tested standard costing, and in testing standard costing and variance analysis, tested it in application style. Do you know, can you apply it? It was not like compute for me sales volume variance. If you know sales volume variance, you can do anything with it. If you know a concept, you can do anything with it. That's basically what it means. Then section A always is an issue, please. That is a remark. I was requesting that I give us a summary of how to actually do the general paper, which section do better, start with. But this one, I can give you my personal perspective that if for me I'm to answer the exam in an examination paper, I may not say that let me first answer question 1 because it has 40 marks. I may answer a question in section B. I will use what can I kill first? Where can I maximize marks? If there's a question in section B where I can score 20 marks, I cannot first start with the section A of 40 marks because it has very many marks and it's going to delay me. I have to first kill the other one because where you are confident, you are going to take less time to attempt. So it is better you first do where you are confident and then like that. That would be, for me, would be the best approach. Kill things which you can kill first, and then you go for those ones where you find you have some struggles. Will this add on CPD hours? That goes back to CPA Justice. Are all study materials available? From the last time I checked, they were not there. That goes back to CPA Justice, but I'm certain. I think the study packs are there. Then I find that MDC tests more of time than principal. How can we better manage time management in the exam? I don't agree with you, Edward, on that, because the questions are testing the topics, they are not testing, but time is part of an exam. Also, how best can we pick the relevant information from speech parts? I think we have addressed that, Henry. Do we always have to comment on the answers we have written, like give a conclusion? Flavia, it is key because after performing a computation analysis, it bases on the requirement. If the requirement is telling you advise, you must give an advisory note. So you cannot just do a computation analysis and you move away. You must give an advisory note. As we said, that this paper, you cannot prepare a report to the board and you go to the board and you tell them, this is our problems. No, when you go to the board, you go with probable solutions for them to embrace them or to say, no, we are not happy with what you are suggesting. So please ensure to do that. I have suffered to pass MDs after 3 attempts. Am I allowed to first put it on hold, much as I pay for it as I work on changing my mindset? Also, how can I change my mindset towards MDC? I think if you have attended all of this, your mindset is already changed. But still, CPA Justice will guide further to you. My question not answered very well. For example, when the answer is 10 and someone gets 9 or 11, do they consider them?
CPA Gabriel.
That is wrong.
Hello, CPA Gabriel.
I'm hearing you, CPA Justice.
Yes, sir. I see time is running fast and the same questions are being repeated and over again.
Yes,
so I scan through quickly. I respond to a few of them and then I will just invite you for 30 seconds to say bye to them and we close.
Okay.
So members, there's one who said he wanted to know the sections where these questions come from. I think that is not today and not soon, but you have to look at the questions and look at the trend of the questions, and the facilitators told you the key topics, and you have to see the key topics of the paper and the learning outcomes and what to target on, and you prepare. If you have your 80% of the learning outcomes and the syllabus, you are ready to pass. And then somebody was asking, talking about the addition of marks to the marks that you get. The person talked to 45 and then 40 something to be added. I don't know where that information, where it's coming from. That one, the person who told you that, better go back to him. That one, I will not say anything. But what I will tell you is that if you get 50%, you've passed. Otherwise, if you talk about the bonus mark and where it's coming from, every question and solution has its own characteristics. You can't say that it is a bonus mark on question 3 because it depends on the nature. So those issues, I think the person who asks you go back to that person and interact with the person. Otherwise, you can't predict a bonus mark before the exam is set. And then Somebody talked about topics like linear programming and whether actually it is better to start with it. Kindly, as the facilitator said, you start with a question that you feel is good for you and first pick it and maximize marks. Start with what you feel you know best. And then there's somebody who was asking about 50 marks that if you don't get a compulsory that you don't pass. That question has been coming over and over again in all sessions. And I'm telling you that surely if you get your 50%, even in section B, you'll pass. However, it's hard for you to get the 50 in only one section. So read the syllabus, prepare for the entire thing, and then come and pick what you know first and answer the exam in a good flow. You get your 50%. Thank you so much, members, for logging in. Gabriel, 30 seconds, say goodbye to them, and then we close. Thank you.
Thank you, Justus, for inviting me to talk to the participants. It has been a great pleasure. I will conclude. There has been a response here. Do I write a report for every question, even if you are not asked to write a report? I think that is very wrong. You don't, that is setting your own question, and I will end. Thank you very much for being a good audience.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. And somebody who said the question was not well attended. This person, I think the way I looked at it, is saying, do we answer, do we pick, if the answer is 10, do we mark 10? This is a practical paper. So if the answer is actually 10, it may not be 10 for everybody because it is hard to get that 10. Even if you brought the different experts in this paper, they may get different answers. One gets 9.8, another gets 9.7, another can get 9.8, but the reasoning and the flow is what we look at. So don't mind so much about the answer, but look at the flow, interpret, and write according to the required. You get your marks. Thank you, members, for logging in. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know whether CPA Esther is on call, but if she's not on, I thank you. Put your hands together to thank CPA Gabriel for a good presentation. We look forward to meeting you again on such engagement next season. I do thank you and all the best.